Hi guys, Jonah speaking. Before I will tell you about the changes and new things in the new game in the Nemesis series, Nemesis Retaliation, I will list what has no change with respect to the previous parts. So, playing cards and the event phase is played the same, except that you will know new cards, new effects, new heroes, new items, new intruders, new queen. Okay, there is a lot of new stuff, so what new things you can expect from this board game? Here is the new hero board. Into the receipt it goes a character cards, and here you probably already noticed something new. Yes, that is those stars at the bottom of the character card. These stars, that's the hero rank, which applies to the private objective cards, but also to the command cards, I mean chain of command. So, in short, a character with a higher rank can order a lower ranked hero to do something by playing a command card. A character with a lower rank, after discarding his order card, may not carry it out. As for the characters themselves, in Nemesis Retaliation we played well-trained commandos. So we have a top-ranking officer in command, there is a combat engineer, as you can see it's girl gun operator, and a recon. Each character of a different rank. Okay, as I said, there are many changes, so I'm showing you the next thing. At the top of the player board is a character's Lifetrack. We mark light wounds with a red marker on it. And when we get a heavy wound, we put this card covering part of this track. And if there was a marker for light wounds on it, the heavy wound card will push it to further space. And what is important, when we have to move the marker light wounds off the track, our character will die. But fortunately, you can be healed, both from light and heavy wounds. So when you heal heavy wound, you just discard cards and freeing up space on the track. As for the wounds themselves, several new ones have been added in this part of Nemesis, and we will be receiving a lot of them as we are in for a lot of bloody encounters with intruders, because the aliens will appear in this game in whole groups, or rather hordes. But as trained and well-equipped commandos, we will also inflict a lot of wounds. At least that's the plan. For this, we will need heavy objects like starter weapons. So, in this game, they are cards, always horizontal. We will place them at the bottom of the character board. On them, we placed ammunition tokens if a particular weapon needs it. The heavy item is still the egg, but here in this game, we no longer collect corpses, so such will not appear in this board game. In addition to the heavy items, there are also common items. This we will keep in the backpack, and here the rules is that you can use only the item whose card is on top, or rather the first one in this tray. Remember that I'm showing you a prototype, so the final shape and design of the components, include this one, may still change. But what's important about common cards, with the action of reorganization, you can change the order of the cards in the backpack. And also, always after using an item, we can arrange a different order of those those common cards in the backpack. Okay, next new thing. As you have seen, the design of the entire player board has strongly changed. And surely you notice such a small detail in the lower right corner. It's the dial built into the hero board that indicates our oxygen level. So after playing each turn, pay attention, each turn, not round, we will have to lower the oxygen value by 1 if we are in a sector without oxygen. And at the beginning of the game, all 3 sectors on the map have the life support system turned off. So if we want to have something to breathe in the sector, we have to turn it on, just like in the power supply in Nemesis lockdown. So when we reach a value of 0 on the oxygen dial, it's a sign that we need to worry already, because we are just run out of oxygen. But if we needed to lower the value, we turn it to 0 with an exclamation mark, and that means we no longer have anything to breathe and we are dying. So it's not a very nice vision of the future. Basically, it's a good idea to have a supply of oxygen or just stay in an oxygen-free zone on the map. But it's not simple. Okay, another new feature on the character board is the tactical belt on the left side on the board. There are 4 spaces for items such as ammunition, grenade, and as well as oxygen. And these are items that are always available. So when you use the action use item, you can recharge our oxygen supply by increasing the value on the dial. And you can take new item in your tactical belt, for example, from a card on the landing tails that is on the map where you start the game. Speaking of the map, now I will move on to the news here. So, as I mentioned, all marines start from the landing tail. But basically, at the beginning of the game, we add 3 corridors to the landing tail. And when you will exploring a new room, you draw an exploration card, and that is something new. This card will determine the type of room tail to be discovered and the layout of the corridors to be added, as well as the possible markers for noise, closed doors, maybe some malfunction token or fire markers in the room. So look, the board is divided into 3 sectors. For example, when you will discover new rooms in sector A, you will select the room tails from sector A. And of course, similarly for the next sectors of the map. Map tails with a question mark on the reverse are such universal rooms. But importantly, when adding a corridor to a newly discovered room, you do not add corridors that would cause a connection to another room that was discovered earlier. And as a curiosity, I will add that, for example, using a robot, we can drill out new corridors. So, since I mentioned robots, one of the 4 different rovers available will randomly appear in the game. There is a medical robot that will heal us, a technical robot that will repair rooms and remove fire markers, a server robot that will replace the computer symbol in rooms, and a military robot with a burst attack. So each has different functions, but all can carry oxygen and ammunition. In addition, we can control them via Wi-Fi from rooms with a computer. Okay, let's go ahead. In NEMESIS Retaliation, you always have to roll a noise dice after the move action. And on this dice is a different distribution of values. Most are numbers 4, least are 1s. And what's interesting, the corridors themselves on the map are distributed randomly. So there may be, for example, a situation where there will be 2 or more corridors with, for example, the number 1 next to a room. So in this situation, after rolling the noise dice, when the result indicates 1, the noise marker should be added to each corridors with number 1. And exactly as it was before in the NEMESIS games, when in the corridors is already a noise marker and we have to add a new one, some intruder immediately appears. Which one? Pick a token from the back and find out. On its back is a number indicating how many intruders will appear in a given corridor. So at this time I have to warning you, this can be whole hordes, as you can see. Okay, about noise dice. On the noise dice is also a new symbol named Hord, the equivalent or danger. And after rolling it, you have to draw an intruder token from the back. This alien literally falls on your head and attacks you, unless you have security in the room where your character is standing. So now I will strain to the possibility of protecting ourselves from an unexpected alien attack, named in this game Surprise Attack. So with this security action, we can place some kind of shield tokens in the room where we are standing. In the case of a surprise alien attack, we discard this token and the intruder doesn't attack the hero, but still stay in that room. Good news, Marines can also protect corridors. In this case, we turn over the corridor tail, and as you can see, in those not have a number. So, for example, after noise roll, this corridor is protection because intruders will not appear in it. But they can still go through it, so it can't be perfect. Okay, since the aliens have appeared, it's time to say 2 words about combat. So players have 2 types of attack on the enemy. Shoot, which is used as a single shot in an intruder standing in the same room as the hero. The second attack is burst, which we use by shooting at aliens only in the corridors. And into the corridors, we can also use a grenade. In general, it's also best to use abilities whether from cards or weapons and push intruders into corridors and shoot with whenever you can to eliminate as many aliens from the horde, from the group, as possible. The shooting itself comes down to using the appropriate dice. With the shoot action, it's the red dice, that is the K8, and here we have value and skull symbol when you kill the enemy instantly, and a magazine symbol when you need to discard ammunition from the weapon. The rules from inflicting wounds is that depending on the number of wounds the alien already has, so when we roll a value higher, in that situation we will inflict only 1 wound. When after rolling we have a result equal or lower than the number of wounds in the enemy, the intruder dies immediately. Performing the burst, let me remind you that it's only for aliens in the corridors. We will use the purple dice K6. On it are values that will indicate how many intruders we will kill, in addition to the guaranteed 1 for this attack itself. But in the case of the Queen, things get a little more complicated for us, because this lady has her own life deck, and generally speaking, she must be killed 5 times. Which of course doesn't mean that he have to inflict 5 wounds on her. Nope. So at the beginning of the game, we discard a random 3 cards from the Queen's life deck, and after attacking, we reveal the top card and check the value on it. When it's higher than the number of wounds we inflict, the card returns to the deck. If it was successful, we discard it and only 4 more remained. And now look, the Queen in her deck has only 1 blank card, 1 with the value of 2, 3 and 6, and 2 each with 4 and 5. So you have to inflict a lot of wounds on her to hurt the Queen. Finally, on topic of intruders, a few more words about the bug of alien tokens. We start the game with 1 larva, 1 empty token, and 5 adults, so there is no Queen token on the back at the beginning of the game. But, for example, when we draw on a back development phase an adult token, or drone token, drone it's stronger adult, from the back, always a Queen token will be put into the back, so you can be expect that she will appear on the board quite quickly, and every time when we draw her token after she appeared on the map, she will activate. In terms of novelty, the way the target is selected has changed. There are still 2 goals, except that one, the equivalent of the corporate target, is now public. It's our order that all Marines know. The card of this objective lies uncovered on the board from the beginning of the game. The other private objective will conflict with it. And each player can choose an objective at any time during the game. The first person to do so will draw 4 cards from his deck, which will allow him to play another turn. The next person will draw 1 less card, and so on and so on. Now let me show you 2 more possible escape routes from this alien habitat. One is the landing tail, or more precisely the ship that will arrive to pick up the soldier in the 10th round. Although the moment of this arrival can be accelerated or delayed. But in the event of escape from that ship, you need to check the air defense systems. These are 2 tokens lying on top of the board. When the system is active, it will shoot down the ship coming for us. Of course, you can pick at them and set up as you wish. The second escape route is the Hibernatorium room. It's located in section B on the map, and it's surrounded by 4 corridors with locked doors. So once we hibernate, we are left to pray that no one and nothing triggers the auto-destruction of the base, because then we will die. Okay guys, it looks like it's all new things in the new Nemesis board game, Nemesis Retaliation. Now I invite you to watch the gameplay video after the weekend, so you can see the new marines and new intruders along with a queen in action. Today, thank you very much for watching this video. If you learned something interesting and if you like this video, please leave a like. And if you had some questions, write the comments below this video. See you next time. Bye bye.